So we're going to play Fox's Tales, which is a really great high energy game for getting people moving and warming up, and can be played in many different terrains. Best to make sure the ground isn't too wet, because we're going to be playing a little bit crawling around on the ground. So I shall explain how it works. So you need a boundary of bags or bandanas or something similar of this sort of size. Imagine it's the springtime. The foxes have had their cubs, and the cubs have made their way out and they're playing. The foxes' cubs love to play, and you little foxes' cubs particularly love chasing each other's tails. So each of you foxes are going to have a tail, which you're going to tuck carefully into a back pocket or your belt or something. Make sure it's not tied on, it needs to be just loosely hung there so that it is easily stealable. So if each of you take a tail, so you stay within the boundary, and the aim is to try and steal other people's tails. You cannot protect your tail with your hand, you can't touch it at all, and so you just have to maneuver out the way. If you manage to steal someone else's tail, you can add it to your collection. And the person who's had their tail stolen must then go down onto the ground, but they're still in the game. They can still move around so long as they are down on all fours in any which way they like, in order to be able to try and steal a tail from another fox which still has one. If you manage to get a tail back again, you put it back in again, and off you go back into the game again. If somebody has more than one tail, you can, if you're lucky, steal all of their tails, or as many as you can get hold of, so that if they have one left, they're still in the game. But if they have them all stolen, then you get them all and they are down on the ground. If you have more than one tail and you feel very generous, you could, if you could demonstrate that you are down on the ground, you could choose to actually give a tail kindly to a little fox cub on the ground, and they can come back in the game. And that is how we play. So things to look out for this game are to make sure that children aren't just lurking around on the boundaries to protect their tail, and also that they're not sitting down on their tail to stop people getting it, and really to make sure that it's a non-physical contact game. So the contact is just in grabbing the tail, so there can be a lot of sort of batting off people with the hands to get people off, and it can be that a couple of children can get into a bit of a tussle trying to get each other's tails. And what we've done in the past is, if they get into a situation like that, there could be a code word for one of them to say, which would just be that they just split up and walk in different directions to break up that situation.